Hi, Maddie. Good to see you again. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Before we get started today, I just wanted to go over some confidentiality, housekeeping stuff. Everything that is said during our conversation here is confidential. But I do have a couple limitations. If you mention intent to harm yourself or intent to harm anyone around you, I do have an obligation to report that. Also, if you mention any child abuse or elder abuse, I do have an obligation to report that as well. Do you have any questions about any of that I just said?
No, that is
Okay.
good with
And
me.
you're feeling pretty good today? No suicidal ideations, no intent to harm anyone around you?
No, no.
Okay, good. Okay. So let's talk about your week. How have you been? What's been going on?
I've been good. I just am here because I'm in college and I received my bachelor's in psychology.
That's
And my hope,
awesome.
thank you. My hope was to become a therapist, but I actually applied to a couple grad schools for the counseling program, and I did not get in. I did not get accepted. So now I just have feelings of sadness and like I'm a failure and just loss. Like I don't know what to do.
Well, I'm sorry that you didn't get into grad school. That is really tough because I know you put a lot of hard work into your applications and those applications ask for a lot. So I don't want you to feel like it was all for nothing because you did do a lot of hard work in that, I'm sure. Feelings of loss and, kind of feeling down is pretty normal when we feel rejected, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, what are some things that you've been doing to kind of cope with that? Like, tell me how you've been kind of dealing with those feelings.
Well, I feel like I haven't been doing much.
Okay.
I feel like I can't even tell my family because I'm afraid that they're gonna think that I'm a failure, and I've kind of isolated myself from family and friends because I don't want people to know that I didn't get accepted because I'm afraid that maybe they'll think differently of me or that I'm not good enough. So I'm just scared that they might be a little angry.
Scared that they'll be angry. Okay. All of those feelings are completely valid because, whenever we have a goal and we don't meet it quite yet, it's disappointing. Um, Isolation, can you tell me more about that? Like, are you still leaving your house, leaving your room, or is it kind of like you don't want to get out of bed at all type of thing?
Some days I feel like not wanting to get out of bed, and other days I'll get out, but I feel maybe it's more isolating myself from my family, avoiding
Okay.
their phone calls, avoiding their texts, avoiding any conversation about school. I
Okay.
kind of keep that to a minimal.
So avoidance, I kind of heard you say that a couple times. You're kind of avoiding telling them. And there's some fear there too about that they'll be angry, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have they become angry at you before whenever you've kind of not met a goal?
I've always felt maybe judged. They've never really said it straightforward, but if I maybe didn't get a good grade in school, or if I wanted to change majors, or had any other thing that kind of went against their wants for my life, they have shown a little like standoffish attitude towards me.
Okay, so you've noticed kind of like a standoffish, maybe a little bit of judgment. Do you think that that comes from a place of like love and care for you? Like maybe they don't want to show too much because they know that you're upset, and if they show that they're upset too, maybe it'll kind of trigger you. Or if you were to bring up, not getting into grad school, do you think that they would have that same reaction?
I think so. I think that's why I'm afraid to tell them. I think also I don't want to disappoint them. I try to live up to their expectations, and
Okay.
it doesn't, um sometimes it feels like I'm not good enough for them.
Not good enough. Okay. Have you talked about how sometimes they make you feel this way? Have you ever talked to them about that?
I've tried and they seem to push me away, push me, like, say that they don't do that and, um, just really defend themselves because they don't see that they do anything wrong.
And of course, that doesn't really leave a lot of space for you to feel comfortable opening up to them. So completely makes
Right.
sense why you're kind of a little bit scared to tell them that. So you said something earlier about how they kind of like brush you off.
Yes.
How
I
does that
feel,
yeah.
um makes me feel more sad and more like I wanna isolate myself from them because why would I want to be around people, even if they're my family, who, um, seem that they aren't caring and aren't as nice as other families may be when someone struggles in school or not struggling in school, but,
Yeah.
um, maybe something out of my control from not getting in.
Yeah. Of course, you're not going to want to open up to someone like that. Like, you're not going to feel comfortable. So, let me ask this. Is there anyone in your life that you think if you were to tell, like, hey, I didn't get into grad school, I'm really upset. Can you be there for me? Like, is there anyone that comes to mind? Maybe a friend, a teacher, a classmate, someone who may understand the feeling a little bit more?
I have a couple best friends that maybe I can tell, but and it might be nice to vent to them, but at the same time, I think I'm seeking my family, and a friendship just maybe isn't the same to me, and I want
Yeah,
my family's approval and care, and I'd like to vent to them and tell them how sad I am without feeling judged.
100%. So, how do you feel about maybe telling a friend and then maybe after telling a friend and venting to them, how do you feel about telling your family?
I think maybe I can take a few steps towards that, maybe
Yeah,
talk to my friend about that and, um, maybe work up the courage to finally tell my family.
what are some things you think you can practice? Like maybe you can do like a role play in the mirror, like, hey, mom or dad or sister, brother, whoever, like maybe practice what you're gonna say. What do you think about that?
I that's I haven't thought about that. I think I might have to try that. That seems like that might help preparing what I'm going to say and how I'm gonna say it, that
Yeah,
maybe in a tone that won't, um make them lash out at me or say something that might hurt my feelings about that because it's kind of a pretty sore subject for me. Like
100%.
I I didn't get into school, so now what? And now I'm very worried about my future because now from here, where do I go?
Yeah. Lots of open-ended questions and lots of opportunities that you could choose from for sure. Lots of different roads to go down, but right now I like that you said, take it one step at a time to work up the courage to tell them because you're already upset because you didn't get into grad school. You have a little bit of fear of telling them. So maybe practicing what you're going to tell them will help you maybe feel less scared about telling them. Those emotions may still be there when if you choose to actually have that conversation down the road, but like you said, maybe you can practice so that way if they do have that same reaction, like you said, you don't lash out.
Right. And then I just feel so I grew up Christian, my
Okay.
family is Christian, but lately, because I've been isolating myself and feeling very alone, I've kind of pushed religion away and I stopped going to church lately. And I don't know maybe what's the best route for me. I know I should probably go, but it's just kind of hard to get out of bed some days.
Very valid. Thank you for sharing that. It sounds like church is something that's really important to you. And now that this decision or this outcome has, had such an impact on your life, it's made you not want to do something that's really important to you. We are almost reaching our end of session, but I do want to encourage you to maybe think about ways to, get out of the house more, maybe scheduling a day to go to church, or do you have like friends that you meet at church that maybe could encourage you to come? Maybe you guys could ride together. What do you think?
Yeah, I have a couple friends that have been asking me to come back to church, and I just kind of brushed them off, but I know that I should probably take them up on that offer and head back or go back, and
Yeah,
maybe that'll help and get clarity from God and
yeah.
kind of know where I go next.
There's no pressure to do that, like tomorrow, but the fact that you're open to, going back whenever you feel ready is great. And maybe when you do go back, you ask God all those questions and He helps you kind of process everything. So thank you so much for sharing today, and I will talk to you next time.
Okay, great. Thank you. Talk to you next time.
Okay, sounds good.